Fans of Fast and Loud noticed Charles Cimino vanished without warning. What happened afterwards? Join us as we reveal the truth. It's deeper, darker, and far more surprising than expected. From fan favorite to sudden disappearance. If you enjoy cars and reality TV, you've probably heard of Gas Monkey Garage and the show Fast and Loud. It was a popular series that showed old cars being brought back to life. One of the people who made the show fun to watch was Charles Cimino. He didn't just fix cars, he made people laugh, and fans loved him. But then, one day, he was gone. Just like that. People were left wondering, what happened to Charles Cimino after Fast and Loud? Charles was not just any mechanic. He stood out from the others. He always wore sleeveless shirts, had tattoos all over, and made funny jokes. He had a good heart and a good sense of humor. Some fans even called him eye candy because of his strong build and cool style. Others just liked him because he made the show better. But when he suddenly stopped appearing, fans were confused. Many people didn't know that Charles didn't just walk in and get the job. He had years of experience. Before working with cars, he worked in buildings, setting up things like TVs and speakers. He knew a lot about electronics. That helped him later when he joined Gas Monkey Garage. He was also close friends with Aaron Kaufman, one of the top mechanics at the shop. The two of them had worked together before. So when a spot opened up at Gas Monkey, Aaron helped Charles get the job. Charles was great at wiring and small metal work. He started showing up on Fast and Loud in 2015. His first episode was called Rocking 76 G10 Van. He helped fix up an old van with the team. Right away, fans liked his energy. He was fun to watch, and his work was solid. He didn't talk too much about his past, but it was clear he knew what he was doing. One of his best builds was a 1967 Dodge Dart. Some people said it couldn't be fixed, but Charles and the team proved them wrong. They brought the car back to life. That project showed just how talented he was. It also became one of his favorite memories from the show. Charles only appeared in 6 episodes between 2015 and 2017. Still, he made a big impression. He had another side and was known as the class clown. He made silly voices, did little tricks, and made people laugh. His mustache also became part of his look. That's why fans were surprised when he suddenly stopped showing up. After his last episode in 2017, Charles never returned. Fans started to guess what might have happened. Did he have an argument with someone? Did he quit? Was he fired? No one knew for sure. Even now, he has not said much about it. He has never given a full interview or shared a post explaining his exit. People wrote him messages online asking why he left, but he didn't answer. One strange thing is that Aaron Kaufman also left the show in the same year. Since Aaron had helped Charles get the job, some people think their exits were connected. Maybe when Aaron left, Charles also decided it was time to go. Or maybe the shop was changing, and Charles didn't like the new direction. Some fans think Charles just wanted to start his own thing. Later, Charles wrote back to a fan online and said he was now working by himself. That means he was no longer with Gas Monkey Garage. He also said something surprising, that the shop had almost no workers left. Whether or not this is true or not is yet to be confirmed. If that's true, it means big changes happened at the shop after the show ended. But again, Charles didn't say more. He left fans with more questions than answers. After leaving the show, Charles moved to Scottsdale, Arizona. He may not post much on social media, but when he does, he's usually working on cars. Some photos show him fixing up old Mustangs and other classic cars. It looks like he still enjoys what he does. He hasn't stopped working, he's just doing it on his terms. He has also worked with Barrett Jackson Builds, a big name in car shows and auctions. You can see him in some of their YouTube videos like Barrett Jackson Builds, Too Fast, Too Furious Camaro. He may not be on TV as much, but he's still in the car world. He's building, wiring, and creating, just like before, but without the cameras in his face. On his Instagram, the photos show a man who still loves cars. In one photo, he's fixing up a 6R80 Bronco. In another, he's at a car event. His posts are rare, but they always show his passion. You won't see much about Fast and Loud or Gas Monkey Garage anymore. It seems like he has moved on. Still, fans haven't forgotten him. People comment on his posts, saying they miss him on the show. They ask him if he'll ever return to TV. Some even ask if he'll start his own series. So far, there's no sign of that. But the fans keep hoping. One thing people often ask about is his tattoos. He has many of them, but one stands out, a picture of a day of the lifeless woman on his arm. Charles once explained that it comes from his background. His mother is Hispanic, and the tattoo is a way of showing love for his roots. He said it was something he really wanted, and now it's part of him forever. Even though Charles wasn't on the show for a long time, he left a strong mark. He made people laugh, showed real skill, and added something special to each episode. He didn't just fix cars, he brought them to life. And maybe that's why people still talk about him. He came into the show like a burst of energy and then disappeared just as fast. Charles may never explain why he left Fast and Loud, but from what we can see, he's still doing what he loves. He's working on cars, helping with builds, and enjoying his own space. He may not be in the spotlight anymore, but he's still out there with sleeves off, tools in hand, and mustache on point. And while fans wait to see if he'll ever return to TV, one thing is clear. Charles Cimino was never just a side character. He was a fan favorite who brought heart, humor, and real talent to every project. But if you think that's the end of the story, hold on. Because the next part of Charles Cimino's journey is even more unexpected. Life after Gas Monkey, a new path in Arizona. After leaving the bright lights of reality TV, Charles Cimino did not disappear completely. He may have stepped away from Fast and Loud, but that didn't mean he gave up on cars. It was the opposite. Once the cameras stopped rolling, Charles kept doing what he had always done: build, repair, and enjoy the process. But this time, he was doing it in his way. One of the biggest changes was his move to Arizona. Far from the fast days in Texas, Charles chose to settle in Scottsdale, a city known for its classic car events, sunny weather, and quiet lifestyle. It was a shift, but not a step down. Scottsdale is home to many car lovers and hosts some of the biggest auto auctions in the country. For someone like Charles, it was the perfect place to keep working without the pressure of being on camera. Once in Arizona, Charles didn't waste time. He began working independently, picking his own projects and deciding how to spend his days. This freedom gave him a chance to focus on what he loved most: hands-on car work. Without a film crew behind him, he could take his time, try new ideas, and be creative. It was no longer about meeting deadlines for episodes. Now it was about doing quality work at his own pace. Some fans may have hoped for more TV time, but Charles clearly preferred working behind the scenes. He showed up in a few online videos, especially with Barrett Jackson builds. The videos weren't full of drama or big personalities. Instead, they focused on real builds, real work, and skilled mechanics doing what they do best. That's where Charles fit in perfectly. In those clips, viewers saw a different side of him. He wasn't cracking jokes or playing to the crowd. He was focused, calm, and professional. It was clear that Charles had grown from a fun TV character into a serious builder. He was no longer the class clown. He was the guy you called when you wanted the job done right. Aside from this, Charles also started attending car shows and auctions, both as a fan and a builder, there in Arizona, the home to famous events like the Barrett Jackson auction in Scottsdale, where rare and custom cars are put on display and sold to the highest bidder. Charles was spotted at these events, chatting with other builders and sometimes even showing off his own projects. These events gave him a chance to stay connected to the car community while building a reputation outside of reality TV. From time to time, Charles posted photos on his Instagram. They were rare, but they said a lot. One photo showed a freshly finished piece, its engine shining under the shop lights. Another showed him working on the inside wiring of a classic Mustang. The captions were simple, sometimes just a few words, but they told fans one thing. Charles never left the world of custom cars. He just changed lanes. For someone who had spent years in front of cameras and under the pressure of deadlines, this new freedom must have felt refreshing. Now, if a build took longer than expected, that was fine. If he wanted to experiment with a new wiring setup, he could. Fortunately, people around him began to notice that his work had matured. What used to be fast-paced builds for entertainment had now turned into detailed, careful restorations. He was still doing electrical work, but now he was also fabricating parts, tuning engines, and learning more every day. He was no longer just a wiring guy. He was becoming a full builder in his own right. His journey also shows that not everyone needs a camera to be successful. After Fast and Loud ended, some cast members chased new shows or tried to stay in the spotlight. But Charles took a different road. He didn't try to become a celebrity mechanic. Instead, he focused on doing good work and enjoying his craft. In the long run, that might be more rewarding. While he hasn't confirmed it publicly, there are signs that Charles might be taking on private clients. These are car lovers who want custom work done and are willing to pay for quality. Since Charles already had a name from his time on TV, he likely gets business through word of mouth. That kind of setup lets him pick jobs that interest him. No rush, no drama, just pure car work. Another interesting part of his life now is his connection to the Barrett-Jackson brand. Not only did he appear in videos, but many of his Instagram photos were taken at their shops or events. This shows a steady link between Charles and one of the biggest names in the car world. If he's working with them on builds, that means he's trusted. Barrett-Jackson doesn't hire just anyone. They look for experts, and Charles fits the bill. Away from the cars, Charles seems to enjoy a quieter life. He doesn't post about his personal life, and he doesn't share drama. That's rare in today's online world. But for fans who followed his journey, it's clear that he's happy. He's still doing what he loves, and he's doing it on his terms. From time to time, someone will tag him in a throwback photo from Fast and Loud. Fans still remember his silly jokes and wild energy. But in the comment sections, there's a new kind of respect. People say things like, "Glad to see you still doing your thing," or "Miss you on the show, but happy you're still building." It shows that Charles didn't just leave an impression, he earned people's respect. Some fans also wonder if Charles might return to TV one day. It's possible. He has the talent, the name, and the experience. But if he does come back, it will likely be on his terms. Maybe a small show about his builds, or a YouTube series where he teaches wiring tricks and tips. But for now, he seems content with the path he's chosen. One thing is clear, he never lost his love for cars. Even after all the changes, all the years, and all the silence, Charles Cimino is still doing what made him happy in the first place. Working on cars with his own two hands. No lights, no scripts, no rush, just a man, a garage, and the hum of an engine. And if you're wondering whether walking away from Fast and Loud hurt his career, the answer is no. It may have helped. Outside the show, Charles has found something many people spend years chasing: peace, freedom, and purpose. He's not just a mechanic anymore. He's a builder, a craftsman, and someone who followed his own path. And maybe that's the real surprise. But there's still more to learn, because what happened to Gas Monkey Garage after Charles left will add a whole new twist to this story. Charles Cimino's exit and Gas Monkey Garage. When Charles Cimino quietly stepped away from the spotlight, fans were left wondering what would become of Gas Monkey Garage. After all, Charles was more than just a crew member. He was part of the heart that kept the shop's energy alive. His sudden absence didn't just leave a gap in the build crew, it changed the whole vibe of the garage. At first, things seemed normal. Richard Rawlings still flashed his wide smiles, engines still roared, and the team kept working on classic builds. But behind the scenes, the mood had clearly shifted. Some longtime fans noticed right away, "It's not the same without Charles," many said. And they weren't wrong. Gas Monkey Garage began to change direction. Some of the original crew members started going their separate ways. Aaron Kaufman, who had already left earlier, didn't come back. Then Jason Aker quietly stepped away too. It was like watching the original band members leave one by one. With each name missing from the credits, viewers felt a little more disconnected. After Charles left, the show Fast and Loud didn't last much longer. The show was canceled not too long after. Richard Rawlings later confirmed it himself. Fast and Loud was over for good. Many fans felt like the garage lost its magic. The mix of wild personalities, real car work, and behind the scenes, laughs just wasn't there anymore. But Richard Rawlings wasn't done. He pushed forward and started focusing more on social media, merchandise, and business deals. Gas Monkey Garage became more of a brand than a workshop. They opened restaurants, bars, and even talked about liquor partnerships. The greasy, dusty days of hands-on building slowly gave way to polished marketing and logos. Some fans welcomed this new chapter, saying it showed growth. Others missed the old days when it felt raw and real. And honestly, who could blame them? There was something special about watching Charles, Aaron, and the team working under pressure, racing deadlines, fixing problems, and joking through it all. Richard also started new shows on YouTube and launched podcasts. He tried to keep the spirit alive in a modern way. But still, that classic Gas Monkey Garage energy, the one full of real teamwork, seemed harder to find without Charles and the original crew. Even with all these changes, Gas Monkey still gets millions of fans. The brand is strong. The garage name lives on. But the era that made it famous, the time when Charles Cimino was wiring up rides and cracking jokes in the corner, is now a memory. One thing is clear. Charles's leaving wasn't just a quiet exit. It was the start of a whole new phase for the garage. And while Gas Monkey Garage still rides on, it rides a little differently now. Some say Charles Cimino learned the true value of staying off the camera. After all, fame from Fast and Loud brought both praise and pressure. By pulling back, he regained control. He wasn't being followed by rumors, edits, or expectations anymore. His pace became his own, his decisions were private, and that made him more respected in certain circles. What came next was not some grand announcement or flashy comeback. It wasn't about jumping into a new reality show or joining another loud crew. Charles Cimino took a different road, one that offered peace and purpose without losing his love for custom builds. He chose silence over drama and precision over publicity. And that decision tells us more about the man than any episode ever could. In some cases, clients reached out through back channels, hoping for a one-on-one build with Cimino himself. He reportedly turned down several offers that felt too commercial or too public. His interest wasn't in making a comeback on screen, it was in making real art with metal, fabric, and chrome. One collector even shared, "You don't find guys like Charles anymore. He's not building for the market, he's building for the soul of the machine." That kind of work doesn't show up on television. There are no production lights or edited voiceovers, just craftsmanship, the kind that speaks for itself when the engine turns over and the polished finish shines under natural sunlight. Interestingly, being hard to find made him even more legendary among fans. It's not every day someone walks away from fame and still keeps their following intact. But Cimino managed to do just that. Auto fans began treating him like a myth, asking, "Has anyone spotted Charles Cimino lately?" Some even called him the Ghost Builder. And honestly, in a world full of people shouting for attention, Cimino's silence became a kind of power move. While he may not have rejoined any public garage, Charles Cimino didn't cut ties with the auto world completely. Some insiders say he quietly offered guidance to younger builders behind the scenes. He answered questions, reviewed sketches, and even helped some startups with custom design advice. He just didn't advertise it. One former Fast and Loud crew member mentioned in a podcast, Charles didn't vanish. He just stopped performing. He's still out there, watching, building, helping, but only when he feels it's right. That kind of selective involvement only deepened the mystery around him. Another builder once posted a blurred photo of a classic truck, heavily modified, with the caption, "Guess who helped bring this beauty to life? He's back, just not how you think." Fans immediately speculated Cimino's name, but he never confirmed anything. Classic Cimino, letting the work speak louder than words. Even as the years passed, fans kept asking one question: will Charles Cimino ever return to TV? Petitions were started online. Comments flooded old Fast and Loud clips. Some fans hoped for a spin-off, others dreamed of a YouTube channel. But Cimino stayed silent. Still, the demand never truly stopped. Even today, when people talk about the best to ever appear on Fast and Loud, Cimino's name comes up every single time. He didn't need to do anything wild or over the top. His quiet consistency and detailed work left an impression that outlasted the flash of TV fame. Outside of car building, Cimino seemed to focus more on his well-being. This shift surprised fans. They expected burnout or bitterness, but instead, Cimino leaned into peace. It's the kind of ending you don't see often, where someone walks away at their peak and finds calm rather than chaos. Some people think being off-camera means fading into the background, but in Cimino's case, it did the opposite. His decision to go quiet made people remember him even more. He became a symbol of quality over hype. In a world full of people chasing trends, Cimino stood out by sticking to what he believed in. Many young builders today still refer to his work when learning the craft. His techniques, especially in interior design and finishing touches, are studied in detail. Some custom car schools even reference old Fast and Loud episodes as examples of smart design, and it's usually Cimino's projects they highlight. His approach taught people that true skill doesn't scream, it whispers, and when done right, it stays for years. Let's be honest, most people in Cimino's position would have stayed in the spotlight. They would have cashed in, taken the brand deals, and signed on to more shows. But Charles Cimino chose a harder path, and that's why his story is still being told. It's not just about what he built at Gas Monkey Garage, it's about what he built afterward, a quiet legacy, an honest career, and a life that made sense to him. His name may not flash across screens like it used to, but for those who love the craft, Cimino's work is unforgettable. So, whatever happened to Charles Cimino after Fast and Loud, well, it surprised everyone. Because while most expected drama or downfall, what they got was something much rarer: grace, peace, and quiet excellence. As one fan put it perfectly, Charles Cimino didn't fade out. He just chose a softer spotlight. And in doing so, he proved that real legends don't always need to be seen. They just need to be remembered. Whatever you thought you knew about Charles Cimino, the truth surely took a wild turn. From walking away from the spotlight to quietly building a new chapter, his story proves that not every gearhead needs the cameras to keep moving forward. Fans may miss him on screen, but real life doesn't need a script. Charles chose freedom over fame, and honestly, whether he returns or not, his name still rides strong in the world of custom cars.